of today's episode. I'm gonna try not to do that again, but it just, I don't know, depends on how often Mr. X decides he wants to kick my ass.
You mean when he decides to give it to you?
Yes, when X gonna give it to
Wow,
me.
that's... So
And I'm
anyway,
pretty sure we
but...
can't use that anymore due to copyright reasons.
I'm not
Just
making
saying.
I'm not making money off this. This is all free
I
use.
know.
Copyright, go and give it to you.
Right, go give it to you.
Okay, Scott.
Besides, I
I don't
purchased
want
the
to.
song.
I don't want to rush you off. Like, take your time having fun because, believe me, it's very fun really to have fun. But, like, dude, you gotta try the Norther tonight.
What do I need
Yeah,
to
I'll
do?
try it out eventually.
Eventually, but for now, you're just gonna destroy fucking everything in what is basically
Yeah, I'm
the
gonna
Norther.
see how far I can take this thing.
My highest score is 83,600 in the Andy Sukhoi 37 because that score actually got saved by my previous run on the original version of the game.
God, this fucking mech.
Okay, good. Good, I stunned him. I stunned him.
So, Scott,
Not for very
is this your
long.
favorite mech in the game?
Yes, and I wish we could have had it in campaign.
What game are you guys talking
Well, I
about?
mean, Project Nimbus.
Project Nimbus.
Got it.
Also known as The Base. Also known as, well,
Base Simulator
Armored Coordinates
9000.
Combat, but with babes. Yes. Let me give you, let me go to the credits real quick and send you an image.
Oh,
Which,
you're gonna
by the
send
way-
him that? Well, we've told him already.
We've
That
told him,
one
but I
of
don't
his
think you
one,
showed him.
one of his favorite singers from YouTube is in this game.
Lee and Lee.
Yes.
Yes.
Amelie. That said,
Well,
Scott,
I mean,
I'm
officially her
surprised you
channel's
didn't...
called Lee and Lee. But yes.
By the way, Scott, did you notice that both Juliana and Mirai are both roommates and they're in school uniforms?
Yes.
I just thought that was very wholesome.
Well, actually, isn't
Mira-
Juliana older by 2 years?
2 years, yes.
Yes.
Then again, I'm pretty sure they're
Way
both,
to
like,
get
taller
back
stuff
into
in
it.
terms of intelligence. That's how you
Ow!
Yes.
No, 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 no.
Dude, I just figured out if you hold down the melee button, you use the drill instead of the claw thing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I did the drill dash.
Well, I got killed.
Unless the game got confused.
That was fun.
Oh my god, this thing fucking destroys battleships!
I've got like nothing.
Oh, in the game?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
I held
no,
a party. I just got a
I-
trophy that says I.
got a ton of ammunition, but
Yeah.
I've got no healing items. And Mr. X is right here in the lobby with me.
He wants to join your game.
No,
He's the
Mr.
one that
X.
feel left out. I whiffed that shot.
No means
This
no.
way's gonna take longer.
Oh, no. Oh, okay, just.
I was about to say, if that joke is going where I think it's going, please don't.
Oh no, he just kind of grappled me and threw me to the ground.
And dead. It's like half the fucking wave gone in one shot.
Leave me alone! I'm just a police officer. I've done nothing
That's-
wrong.
That's the character who Amelie voices.
Yeah.
Blue
hang
screen,
on.
ladies and gentlemen.
Hang on.
Oh god.
Also, Scott, I have to say this. Ingrid's actually pretty cute.
Yeah, she is. She's closer to my age.
Come on, a healing item. No, everything's in the clock tower.
Wow, that actually survived that. Oh boy, missiles. Nope.
I will make my stand if I need to.
Fuck it. Scott's making me jealous. I'm gonna fly the Rick Air. Or Riku. Actually, you know what? No. Gonna do the Northerner.
It's nice. For the time being, it seems like Mr. X won't follow you into
You say that.
into the room, into the gear puzzle room.
Yeah, there's certain parts of the... Dude, you can chain your melees!
What?
Yeah, if you just keep mashing circle, the auto lock just keeps chaining to the next target. Oh, this thing's melee range is nuts.
Ladies and gentlemen, never do what I just did. It is a waste. Yourself.
Hey, Sparta, when you
Yeah.
went to college, assuming you went to college,
I did go to college.
He did.
did you ever have to go to, like, the dean to, like, report a problem in your class at all?
You're on, you do know you are on stream, correct?
I will tell you later that
Yeah,
I had
good point.
an
Never mind.
annoying dean of students who seemed like he was more... I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'll explain it better when I'm not streaming. I'll just leave it there. Just say I had a dean of students, or sorry, an assistant to the dean of students who was who took his job way too seriously. Or
He let the power go to his head.
yes, thank you. That's actually what happened.
Looking at the assistant dean of students, to the assistant dean of bullshit.
No. He was the assistant to the dean of students. So basically, the
I
dean
know.
of students is basically the guy
It's
who
the It's basically the college president. Like that's what the title would be had you been at like a 4-year. It would be president of the college.
Well, no, because we had like an actual president of the college. The guy I'm talking about was not. He was basically like the guy who was put in charge to do all the stuff that the actual dean didn't want to do. That was his job.
My job is to do other jobs.
Well,
My
okay,
job
no.
is to do the job that my boss is too
Hope
lazy
I don't
to
have
do.
to write a report on this.
Yeah. It was basically like, you remember the what are they called? Like the school officers? Remember those?
SROs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically that's what he was, except he had a little bit more power. Was not allowed to carry a gun. And basically he let the power get to his head. And that's really all I'm gonna say about him, because the last thing I want is to go into work tomorrow and get pulled aside like, is there a liquor in here?
Give
How is
that guy a
fair?
liquor.
How's that fair? Okay, so now I have to do all that all over again.
Oh, your microphone levels. Don't have them too high.
I don't think they're too high. Or, if anything...
Sparta
it's-
actually turned them down, like, after we were talking with Yusef.
Yeah. And I really haven't touched them that much, so... If I'm
I think they're
sounding-
actually at a. I think they're actually at a pretty perfect volume, in all honesty.
There's no fucking way it's 10 o'clock. What the hell?
It's 10 o'clock, dude.
Do you know where
10:02
your
for that
children
matter.
are?
There's actually a very dark place where that came from.
Really?
Yeah, there was like almost
You
like
don't know where
epidemic
that's
level
from?
of missing persons cases in Atlanta in like I think it was the 70s or 80s. And the news agencies were posting that to make sure that parents knew where their children were because it had gotten so bad with missing children and young adults that basically the police enforced a curfew citywide.
Wow. I honestly thought it was just something that the news, like Fox News, always just brought.
Did they ever find who did it? Like, what happened?
Yeah, they did. They found out. Well, part of it was runaways. But the other part. But yes, there was a group of cases of missing persons that had happened in a certain area, and they thought they were all connected because they'd all taken within a short time of each other. But part of it, well, a portion of it was runaways. But the other thing was there was a guy who was kidnapping people and killing them.
Okay, yeah, wow, I did not know that.
Yep, there was a serial killer.
Well, never making that joke again.
Well, it's not a joke. It's just a saying that the news uses. And oh my god, this fucking burst cannon is so good. Love it.
Yeah, but I made a joke about it, Scott. I'm the one who took it too far.
No,
You didn't take it
Just-
too far.
you-
It's just you didn't know where it came
you
from.
didn't know the origin of it. But then again, I use it. I say it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? That's cheap. I still got hit by a missile after I killed the entire wave. Actually, question. If you do campaign runs again, you can't choose your mechs, can you? You're stuck with what you got?
I don't know.
Guys,
Say that again?
if you're doing a campaign run again, you basically stuck with the mechs you've got, or you can pick, like,
You're stuck with the mess you have.
you're stuck with the mechs you have.
I'm not putting up with this horse shit. I don't care.
You
if
start
this
back
ammo
with the
is
MSM. Thought about hosting.
valuable. I'm just. Really? Come on. Get me out. Oh, fuck me. Damn it, and I just healed too.
Hang on.
I hate this. Aside from one blue herb, there's like nothing left for me in the police precinct. He's nearby, isn't he? done yet, boys and girls?
Scott, please use the northern air before we end getting off.
Alright.
Because I do got to get up at 4:45 tomorrow. But I also do want to hear you go nuts.
You want to hear me go nuts? Alright.
Dude, I know exactly how you're gonna act. Oh, by the way, you know that that flip lightsaber blade in that Dark Ray had?
Yes.
Project Nimbus did it first, but better.
Oh my god. Yo, that sword is like the size of a boat.
Well,
Dude,
Scott,
that flip is so cool.
you are fighting with mechs, so...
Yeah, but these mechs aren't that.
Hope I don't
like,
have to write a
big.
report on this.
That reminds me of like Dante's drive attack in Devil May Cry.
Yes, it does.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually came from that.
And the blade's alright.
That's alright, I can head back there.
It sucks you have to kind of manually aim it.
The sewers,
Energy.
Blade doesn't suck. Wesley Snipes will kick all the ass. Jonathan
Wait, what?
Smith. Yeah, Smith. Where did that come from?
Oh, he probably hears my audio on the thing.
Maybe.
No, I'm not talking about Blade the movie. I'm playing Project Nimbus.
Are you watching Sparta stream?
Smith is watching Sparta stream.
No. Del Toro, come on. That's what he's still got my knife in his chest, too. Oh, that face, though. My God. That's a face only a mother could shoot. Wow, that was really wrong.
Context, please.
Oh, I got eaten by a zombie.
Okay.
In Sparta, in my case, Romero be upon you. Romero be upon me like a plague. pepperonis.
I don't even know what's going on.
Neither do I. You're not the only person lost here, okay? Okay, third time's the charm for not getting my ass handed to me by every
Yeah,
single
the Northerner's not as fun as the Riku. Well, then again, the Northerner's not meant for taking out multiple targets all at once at long range. It's meant more for close quarters.
And more for like just slicing people in half. Now, the last thing that I want you to do, go on the Yamato base where the Stonehenge guns are on survival.
I'm not gonna work. Nope.
Smith
I'm not going
again.
through that. I'm not going through that. Not through that cheese.
I heard Blade.
Yeah, by the way, you
thoughts-
can't destroy the guns. You just have to deal with them shooting at you the whole thing.
That's stupid.
It is kind of stupid. But it is quite fun, actually.
Why am I hearing anime music?
Because I'm playing it.
Sparta streaming. Copyrighted music gets struck down on Twitch.
I heard Blade thought
I don't
Scott
think
was
Madoka Magica
talking
music
about
is actually
Blade,
copyrighted.
Then you got eaten
It
by
is.
a zombie,
Trust
so
me,
George
it is.
Romero. Fair enough. I mean, I could get copyright struck for a lot worse things, Scott. I could just start talking about the newest South Park episode.
Hmm.
Anyway, one last thing, Scott. Look at the Volume 7 trailer, please.
I will. Not right now.
I shared it with you. How have you not watched it yet?
That's my
Oh,
question.
it's on Facebook. It's probably on YouTube too.
You always
It is.
hear a Nime. Oh, you always hear anime music, Scott. Sing this note. Why? Ooh, no, not good, not good.
I should make some headway in the
Oh, no.
Try to beat Arkham Knight and then download Darksiders 3.
Yeah, sorry, the PS4 overlay is sometimes hard to read with how it sounds words. Or how it shows words. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. No! Wait,
How
I
it
can do that
sounds
much better.
words.
No!
This feels almost like that scene from Shaun of the Dead.
Oh god. Describe it because I'm drawing a blank right now.
The one where they're getting ready to go in the bar, but there's all the zombies in front of them, and they're putting on their best zombie impersonation.
Oh yeah!
And Sean
Hey,
just
Scott,
fucking nails it.
Hey, Scott.
I love that movie so much.
I love how Ed just looks at it, he's like, yeah, that's brilliant. So, yes, AJ.
You're playing through Ace Combat 5, playing through the journey home, trying to do your best to protect not only all the civilians in the arena, but also your squadron. Chopper ends up getting hit, and he ends up
AJ,
and then he ends up trying to
is this
eject.
going to involve music and or memes?
No.
Okay.
You're trying to bail out. He's trying to bail out, I should say. But at the end of the day, it's up to no avail, and he decides to heroically sacrifice himself by flying into the stadium. He says, "I'm gonna miss that course," and flies into the stadium. Nagase yells in grief. Blaze is just like,
God damn it. You have that on a frickin' like soundboard somewhere, don't you?
no, I just looked it up.
I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. My friend AJ has a tendency to play memes while we're in chat.
Yes. Dabs.
Well, it's not so much a meme. It's like a catchphrase thing of a YouTuber that we watch.
AJ is a meme lord. Don't defend him.
No. There is another person who is way more of a meme lord. Like, he is the meme lord. Like...
For Smooth.
Mm-mm.
Aw.
Oh, it's
Hint, I used to watch him, but then when he became a meme lord, I decided not to anymore.
PewDiePie?
And when he started
It's
to do
PewDiePie,
offensive
isn't it?
shit.
PewDiePie?
It's PewDiePie, isn't it?
Yes.
Gentlemen, put me in a fucking hourglass, because I got precognition.
I didn't know you used to be a pewter.
I used to be, back
ruined
when
it.
he did just gameplay videos.
But then he went on South Park and then it was too mainstream for you, yo.
Wait, he was on an episode of South Park? What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he was.
I like the entire...
And no one's told me this till now?
Scott watched PewDiePie confirmed. I thought you knew. Yeah, it's like... Okay, remember the season where, like, in one episode, Cartman tries to get away with being transgender so he can use the women's bathroom?
To admit, I do not watch that show regularly. So I watch Tosh.0 more than I watch South Park.
Oh, okay, so it's like... It was the season that introduced... No, the season after they introduced...
You know what? I don't even think I'm gonna play a game. I'm just gonna talk.
What is true anymore?
Yeah. Oh, I spent $40 on a book series, and I'm so happy I did because the book is absolutely hilarious. I'm not even done with the first book yet. I got 2 more to read. It's called Mechanical Failure, which it's by this author named Joe Zija, who is actually best known for being a voice actor.
Okay. Hold on. Smith, do you have like Hulu or something? Because
he does.
All 3 of those things are on Hulu.
I believe he has Hulu. No, he has Amazon. Also, why is it showing that I'm playing Batman? I'm not playing Batman anymore.
Okay, Smith, get Hulu, preferably like the standard Hulu Plus, with no commercials. It's like $12 a month, so it's totally worth it. You'll be able to watch South Park, Family Guy, and American Dad, all the like up-to-date stuff. Yeah, I know Hulu isn't free. That's why I said it's like $12 a month for the ad-free version. There's Hulu, oh god, I forget the tiers.
I think it's just straight up you gotta pay for the thing.
Okay, so you have to pay for Hulu Plus. That's $7.99, but it's with ads, and you get to watch it on all your shit. And then there's Hulu Plus.
Language, in the words of Captain America.
Oh god. And then there's Hulu Plus no ads, which is $12 a month. But
I'm in no position to talk though. I curse way more than you do when I'm in Smith's streams. We're getting rocked on Fortnite.
You gotta realize
Yes,
I'm
Fortnite.
typing as I hear you talk. My delay got longer now because you're streaming HD and my internet sucks. Oh, I'm sorry. For the next episode, I'll try to break down the canon. So sorry if saying something you then explain, etc. It's not the end of the world.
But yeah, the book series is called The Failure Trilogy by Joe Zito.
Joe Zito.
Yo, AJ, when I tell you, that book is hilarious. Dude, you gotta read it.
When you tell me to get this book, you are telling me get this book.
Yes, I am. And don't believe me? Zija actually posted something on his YouTube channel of him reading probably one of the funniest chapters I've read so far from the first book. It's called the Big Orange Button. Which, I'm not gonna say what the Big Orange Button does, but it's pretty funny.
That reminds me of a Flash game I used to play. You guys ever played Big Red Button?
I've heard of it, never played it.
It is ridiculous.
Thinking to myself about something.
By the way, dude, Scott, I think I told you about High Top Films a while ago. Guy does video essays on superhero shows all the time. This guy made the Martha scene in Batman vs Superman actually make sense if Batman had a no killing rule.
Yeah.
Do you remember that at all?
Yeah.
That guy made a video today
have the right
saying
report
why
on this.
Spider-Man 3 is actually a good movie. And after watching the whole thing, he's
I
convinced
saw
me
that in my
Spider-Man 3 is not that
recommendations
bad.
today, and I was wondering if that was an earlier video you had told me about.
I'll have to check that out. What's the guy's name?
High Top
Give me a
Films.
second, I'll type it to you. Actually, yeah, Sparta, Scott, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man 3?
It's not great,
Stop
but
orgasming,
it's not entirely horrible either.
So, okay. Looking back on it, originally I loved Spider-Man 3. Looking back on it, I realize now that they made a lot of mistakes with the film and they could have done it much better. You know?
I don't like Darkseid emo hair Peter Parker.
Oh yeah, no,
I don't like how they treated the whole Gwen Stacy thing. Also, Gwen Stacy should have been earlier because remember, Gwen Stacy
First
was
love interest.
Peter Parker because he was Peter Parker, not because he was Spider-Man.
Fantastic actress, and yet they completely botched Gwen.
Yeah.
Like, I hate Gwen in Spider-Man 3. She sucks. I would not even think about asking a girl like that out.
But the biggest thing that I have a problem with, Venom. I do not like at all how they did Venom. But then again, that's Sam Raimi because he doesn't like the character of Venom at all.
Well, okay,
That was all Avi Arad right there.
Because it was wait, was it Avi Arad or Sam Raimi?
Avi Arad.
Avi Arad doesn't like, but he's worked on everything Marvel.
No,
right?
Sam Raimi doesn't like Venom, but Avi Arad was the one who made him like, yeah, you need to do this.
Yeah, he's the one who forced Sam Raimi to use Venom because if you think about it, the Spider-Man trilogy, the ones with Tobey Maguire, are more heavily influenced from the 90s cartoon series because that was really the last big media thing that people had of, well, Spider-Man was the 90s, like, Fox Kids cartoon series, which, by the way, I need to find out where they got DVD box sets of that shit or a Blu-ray remaster or whatever because I missed that show. That the X-Men series. I grew up on that shit. That got me into comic books before comic book movies were a thing.
Or at least before they became good.
Also, quick question for you two.
Go ahead.
What do you think was the first big, high-profile, good superhero movie?
say the first Spider-Man.
Same here, I think.
Actually,
Raimi's
you
Spider-Man
would
movie.
be surprised what actually was the first relatively successful superhero film, based off the superhero franchise. Well, other than Superman with Christopher Reeve, also rest in peace Christopher Reeve. Even all these years later, and of course Adam West Batman and all that. But I'm talking about like the modern comic book like movie, like the Marvel stuff. The first actual Marvel Comics movie, based movie, that actually did very well, Blade.
How did I forget that?
So
Blade
now-
even has in its opening credits in association with Marvel Entertainment.
Smith says it's Superman, Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, it's Superman, Christopher Reeves. But I'm more talking about like
Marvel.
the golden age of like the superhero movie. Like I'm talking about like the stuff from like the 90s and the 2000s. I'm talking about like Blade, X-Men, like when they
Tim
got
Burton's Batman?
huge. Shit, you're not wrong. Yeah, actually he's right. The I would say yeah, well definitely DC did it first because yeah, definitely with
DC did it first, then Sam Raimi used Marvel to show how it could really be done well. And then Marvel decided to go in-house and do it.
Yeah.
Before they eventually got bought out by Disney. But they showed people, not only can you make a successful superhero film, like, hey, check out the Spider-Man films, but
you
can
say
also...
they got bought out by Disney, but honestly, yes, they got bought out by Disney, but at the same time, Marvel has quite a bit of autonomy in terms of the projects and just the lineups and stuff like that of the projects they want to do. They're kind of free with what they're allowed to do.
True.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
And actually, I was gonna say, speaking of Blade, I'm so happy, but I'm so bummed out. I have to wait 2 years for Blade to return.
Well, okay, yes, I do know that most, like Fox and Sony got their Marvel properties because Marvel sold off the rights in order to survive. But at the same time, eventually, they made Marvel Studios because they're like, hey, we could probably do this too.
Wait a
now
minute.
the technology's really come around.
Yeah, Spider-Man belongs to Sony. But I was gonna say, Fox has had X-Men they had X-Men for longest. And I think that dates back to earlier what I said at the end of the series, because it showed on Fox.
Well, yeah, no, I definitely think the 90s series kind of helped to make Marvel, what Marvel is now,
It forced Marvel to take a risk with Iron Man that paid off.
Yeah.
Well, although I was going to say this, and there's a very good documentary on this, a documentary series on History Channel. I was talking with Smith actually about it earlier. It's called like The History of Comics or something like that, or The Untold History of Comic Books. And it was like the series that they had for like a week because it was running up to I think it was The Dark Knight Rises. Because they were celebrating like Batman and Superman and Spider-Man and Marvel and DC and even stuff like things that you're not really familiar with, like Dark Horse and stuff like that, and Hellboy.
Darkness.
But
I love Darkness.
I said Dark Horse.
Well, that's
Dark Horse Comics. Yeah.
Darkness is Dark Horse.
No, Darkness is not Dark Horse. Darkness is Top Cow Comics.
Okay.
The same people who make Wanted and Witchblade. Which I'll get into that later. But yeah, awesome. I lost my train of thought. I was gonna bring up this really cool documentary series and I forgot. Oh no. I need to watch more Jeopardy. I need to work on my neuroplasticity.
I'll watch more Jeopardy, baby.
What was I gonna say? So we were talking about, okay, so we were talking about the X-Men cartoon, and then you were talking about Fox, and then we... Please tell me one of y'all can remember past like 5 minutes ago.
You were talking about some kind of
I'm seriously stuck.
Oh, okay. You were talking about some kind of documentary series leading up to
Yeah,
the Dark
but
Knight.
I forgot the context why I was bringing it up. It had something to do with what we were talking about like immediately before that. But yeah,
Oh, we were talking about Spider-Man 3.
Yes, and you were talking about how Marvel made bank with Iron Man in '08. Actually, comics were dying in the late 90s and early 2000s. And actually, a lot of comic book writers today, what like a lot of the big names, what got them back into comics and writing like all these really like deep, impactful stories, stuff like that, was 9/11.
Well, that would make sense.
Believe it or
in
not.
Such a dark time, people could definitely use a
Yeah, sort of like how the golden age of superheroes was like the 30s and the 40s. Like, you know, you had the Great Depression and you had
War
with
II.
like the Great Depression had like the rise of like organized crime and stuff like that. And then in the 40s you had World War II, and that's where we got like Captain America and like the Justice League of America helping the Allies win the war, like
Cap socking old Hitler.
yeah. And with Marvel, that's what brought a lot of that's what kind of made them sort of change with the times, because well, also there was another problem where it was that comics were being printed in so like characters were having like 4 or 5 different arcs at the same time, like
Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man,
yeah,
Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of
and
Spider-Man.
it was just this massive glut of just comics hitting the market, and all these stores were buying like just loads of these, expecting them to sell, and all these companies were like, yeah, cool, like we're selling money. And then, like we're selling all these comics.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry to break it up, but I do have to get up at 4:45 tomorrow morning, so I kind of got to go to sleep.
Okay.
Okay.
Good night, guys. Talk to you
Good
later.
night.
See ya. But yeah, as I was saying, they had this big like glut of like comics in the 90s and in like around like 2000, and the problem they were having was that people weren't buying comics like they used to, and it got and like just readers got confused, like. And I would have to say, like, after the 2000s and with, you know, Spider-Man being successful and all that, like, it gave comic book writers reasons to write more focused stories.
Yeah. Also, the reason Spider-Man, like, the Spider-Man movie actually, like, they changed, like, some of the continuity of some of Spider-Man's powers in response to the Spider-Man movie. For example, after the Spider Island arc.
They made his webs organic?
Yep.
Yeah. See, I could get Spider-Man having, like, the web shooters because he's smart. Like I get Peter Parker like engineering that and making all these different like mixtures and stuff like that from like better webbing and stuff like that, but here's the question. He doesn't have a utility belt Like Batman, like are they on like a thing where like when one runs out, it just pops out and then a new one just loads in? Like,
I think it depends on the continuity. Like
I've always like I liked the organic webbing thing. That was cool, because
Well, yeah, and it removes the need for. But Spider-Man does have a utility belt. He has a belt. Yeah, he has a belt in most in a good chunk of interpretations. He has a belt that carries additional web cartridges and even has like a light on it. In some interpretations, yeah, thank you, Smith. In some incarnations, Spider-Man does have a utility belt. Like, remember the 90s, where he would just keep all those extra web cartridges?
yeah.
In the Amazing Spider-Man video game, the one that came out with the Mark Webb reboot, Spider-Man has a utility belt. It kind of sits on the outside, similar to Tom Holland's.
Yeah. Also, we did it! Spider-Man's back in the MCU. We did it.
Yay!
Well,
No.
Marvel and Sony did it. They came to an understanding.
Yeah.
And actually, they say a big factor of it was Tom Holland, because he sort of was like the, well, not well, kind of like the mediator between the two. And I mean, I could see why he wouldn't want the band to break up, as I would put it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fairly certain he still would have been employed if it would have gone to Sony, but like.
I mean, I have no doubt that Sony's finally figured out how to do a good Spider-Man film. But at the same time, Spider-Man's become too integral a character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
To the MCU at this point.
Yeah. It's basically like getting rid of Iron Man and not having something to replace him, you know? Spider-Man is basically that replacement, you know?
No spoilers. Also, no Far From Home spoilers. Because I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't planning on spoiling for it.
Alright. But I was gonna say, though, that, I bet Sony was like, yes, we have Spider-Man back. We can cross him over with Venom and Carnage and, like, all this other cool stuff that we have all lined up. And then, I understand them renegotiating the deal, because, yes, so Marvel does have grounds of saying, hey, like, we would like Spider-Man back, because fans weren't happy.
No, nobody was happy.
Yeah, because ultimately nobody was happy. Actually, from what I've heard, Disney didn't win in the renegotiation deal. Sony did.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I heard that they got the right to use like Venom in the MCU.
God, I hope so. And I hope they don't recast him. Just keep it Tom Hardy.
Oh yeah, no, Tom Hardy's the perfect Eddie Brock hand.
Yeah, he did real good. But they gotta explain it though. Like, if Venom and Spider-Man just start fighting each other, they gotta explain it. Like, at least somewhat similar to the comics.
No, come on, I keep dying here.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, oh wow. That guy ripped out my intestines, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Beef sausage.
No, Smith. Sony didn't want a bigger cut. Sony was getting the
Yeah, Sony already gets like 70% of what the Spider-Man
Sony gets
movies
the
make.
lion's share.
It's like 70-30.
Of Spider-Man
yeah.
revenue. Like, Disney wanted it to be like 50-50. or something. They wanted a bigger cut because they realized, oh damn, I know Sony's the one kind of producing these for us, but they're making a lot more money than we thought they were going to with the solo films. Why don't we try and get more of that? And
yeah,
Sony wasn't having it.
But if Venom is in the MCU, then it makes sense as to why people are saying Sony won, because that's another 1, 2, and if we're talking about Morbius, we're talking about Venom, Venom versus Carnage, which is ultimately going to be Venom 2. Morbius the Living Vampire, which, if Marvel plays it right, if Marvel has Morbius the Living Vampire that they brought in, which is filming now with Jared Leto as Dr. Morbius. Or actually, fun fact, originally, the character Morbius was supposed to be the original villain for Blade 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's actually on the Blade DVD, if you look at the deleted scenes section, there's a part where at the end when Blade is standing outside after him and the Doctor Lady have defeated Deacon Frost and like blown him up with the vampire like suppressant like medicine that Blade has to take. They're like standing outside and the sun's coming up and Blade sort of like looks to his left and you see this figure standing like on like a higher part of the building like overlooking them. That's supposed to be Morbius the Living Vampire.
Okay.
But they couldn't use him for some reason because I think Marvel didn't finalize it in time. So they had to come up with an original story for Blade 2.
Okay. Smith, again, the negotiations were... because Sony was producing these for Disney, and they were using... I think like Abrams as the director, who was still being employed by Disney.
Did you say Abrams?
Oh, okay. Who was the director for Far From Home and Homecoming?
It wasn't J.J. Abrams, because J.J. Abrams does Star Wars, bruh.
I thought
he does Star Wars for Disney.
One or two of Marvel films. Anyway, who did?
He did the comics. He did the recent comic run. Him and his son.
Okay, then who did
They did the most recent Spider-Man miniseries run for Marvel Comics.
No, but then who directed Homecoming? Because he also directed Far From Home and...
Hang on, I can ask that question.
But anyway, so...
Siri, who directed the film Spider-Man Homecoming?
So, but basically, the deal was...
Homecoming was directed by John Watts.
Watts, thank you.
There you go.
So yeah, it's like, really, all the production
Apple,
of
saving the day.
Spider-Man MCU films, that was done in-house at Sony.
Yeah,
because Spider-Man was making so much money in his solo MCU films, Disney wanted a bigger cut because it was drawing upon elements that they owned, like Iron Man and Stark International, the Sokovia Accords, Civil War, all that, Infinity War, Endgame, So they wanted a bigger cut of the pie, even though the only thing they're really...
come on, Disney. You guys are a media, like, behemoth. Like, you guys don't need 100% of Spider-Man. Just...
Yeah, no, they're a media glutton. They don't need anything. Yeah. They really don't need anything else. They just recently bought Fox.
Yeah, they just bought Fox.
but anyway, so, and I think at one point they even tried to negotiate, 70-30, the original amount that we originally negotiated, but we'll let you use more Spider-Man characters like Venom, Mobius, Black Cat, all those characters in the MCU,
Mm-hmm.
But negotiations broke down, and eventually Sony took Abrams, I believe, and said, yeah, we're not making any more Spider-Man films for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's out. You know, they took Holland, they took Abrams.
Not Abrams.
Fuck.
Watts.
Watts. They took Watts and they took Holland, and they left. So for a good month and a half, it looked like Spider-Man 3 was going to be produced outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But fans weren't happy about that. Nobody was happy about that. I believe.
Well, we know
Lee's
this
daughter,
bit. We're
well, Stan Lee's daughter also stood up for Sony, saying they did the right thing. You know, Disney never treated Marvel right. You know, and ultimately, I think I'm not 100% sure who instigated renegotiations. But I think if it was Disney, it was probably because they were receiving so much negative press. I'm sure Sony got a bunch of negative press, but I'm sure Disney receiving more of it, as it came to light that the reason that they were trying to renegotiate was because they just wanted more money.
Well, what I was gonna say was, yeah, with hang on, I need to recollect my thoughts. Thinking of 5 different things to say all at once, and then they all just got crossed just now.
But yeah, so.
Damn it.
Actually, hang on. Hey Siri, Google the current Spider-Man Sony Disney deal.
Okay, I found this on the web for the current Spider-Man Sony Disney deal. Check it out.
While that loads, I'm going to try and make my way to the room where the gear is. Why didn't I grab that earlier? That would make my life so easy.
I'm thinking, and I go like, Scott EXE has stopped working. Like, I was thinking of something, and it's just like my brain is just like blue screen.
No, fuck you.
Birkin.
No, I'm still stuck in the gear puzzle. I keep getting killed by zombies. Not even by the tyrant. I keep getting killed by regular zombies.
Shoot him in the face.
That's what I'm kind of doing.
You still have the knife with you.
No, I have no secondary items.
Shit.
Yeah. And I keep having to use the one healing item I find whenever I die and come back to heal myself because I'm already in the red.
Wait, what difficulty are you playing the game on?
Hardcore.
Shit, there you go.
Yeah. I kind of figured I'd be spending some more time getting acquainted with just the background scenery.
I was gonna say something. It was.
So Smith just said, "Hey Siri, why does Sony need to do a live action Into the Spider-Verse with past and current Spidey actors?" And I can answer that
right.
For you. Yeah, no,
right. Because then you have an excuse to bring back Maguire, and you could bring back
Garfield.
Garfield.
Hell, if you really wanted to stretch your the Spider-Verse-ness, you could bring the guy who played the Japanese Spider-Man in too.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, they did have Japanese Spider-Man.
You could probably do a live-action Spider-Gwen and a live-action Miles Morales, make it a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, you could.
You know, like have some parts be animated, like have
But I mean, if you've seen Spider-Verse. If you've seen Spider-Verse, they pretty much line up what the sequel's gonna be. It's gonna be Miguel O'Hara and a whole bunch of other Spider-Men, because
I hope that the sequel involves the Inheritors.
Yeah, it probably will.
Hope I don't have to write a report on this.
You're so funny, Leon Kennedy. I'm so tired of that line. I would love. Okay, so the two things I really want to see other media
But yeah,
do.
I think that's pretty
from
neat
Spider-Man.
that Stanley's daughter stood up for Sony. Actually, like, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, it was basically like the whole thing with the Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man. Oh, son of a bitch! Came out of nowhere. You know what? I'm calling it. Oh my god. I've spent an hour getting my ass handed to me. I'll come back tomorrow and try this again. Good night, everybody. Smith, if you want to chat with me and Scott, you can jump into a party.
Oh yeah, actually, this is